You would imagine we've experienced a number of power outages, and that's all because as that ice continues to accrete on some of those power lines, it remains pretty heavy and it pretty much forces those power lines to fall down. Across the United States, we have about 383,000 households now without power. Tennessee leading the way with 131,000 folks. Over in the Buckeye State, over in Ohio, about 83,000 people without power. Pennsylvania also has about 36,000 households without power. West Virginia has about 30,000 households without power. And over in New York, we have about 23,000 people without power. So the bulk of the power outages in Tennessee is in Western Tennessee, particularly in the Memphis area. That's where they saw not only some ice, but also some rain. 131,000 without power. Leading the way is Shelby County. So hopefully the power crews over there will be able to restore power there within the next 24 hours. Those of you in Belmont County in Ohio are leading the way in the Buckeye State for power outages, nearly 17,000. Hocking County also has about 12,500 people without power as well. And those of you in Cincinnati, like Perry, as well as Jefferson County, also experiencing some power outages. Total about 83,000 households without power. Those of you in Pennsylvania also seeing some power outages as well, nearly 36,000 people without power. Washington County has about 20,000 folks without power. Allegheny County has nearly 6,000 people without power. And then over to West Virginia, where nearly 30,000 people are without power. Hancock County has nearly 8,500 households without power. So hopefully, Britta, folks will be able to have their power restored, but we're going to need the system to exit in order for power crews to restore that power.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.